What's up, guys? We're back. I'm Braxton. You know me. It's been happening for a long time. If you're just clicking on for the first time, my name's Braxton Reuter, and we are running the race of life together. And we're talking about I don't know if you heard that. That was the loudest lightning bolt I've ever heard. That's why you want to be on the right side of God's team here, because He's the one in control of that stuff, you know. It's still possible to get struck by lightning, but I believe that if you're on the right side of things, you're not getting struck by lightning, and that's just me. And if it does happen, you better know where you are, because you're going to wonder your whole life, was it me or was it something I did? And that's one way to help you really navigate your life, is knowing where you're at all times. And that's what this does for you, is it allows you to have a foundation to walk on. You know, you will never be lost if you know where you are. You know, home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. And so, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. But on the podcast, I joke around because, you know, I don't really want to say that I have a podcast. That's not exactly what this is. You know, I wanted to share my heart with all of these people and God and what was on my heart. And at the time, and I've continued to do it because we've continued to walk and down God's path and run the race with God. And so that's kind of how this got started, but yeah, I totally forgot what I was talking about. So yeah, we do deep dives. You know, that's the gist of what goes on here with, you know, why I would ever want to do that, or why it's a foundation, dude. And I know where I'm at all times. You know, if anything bad happens to me, then I know it wasn't because I didn't pray 25 to 30, 50, 75, 100 times a day. I'm on the walkie-talkie. It's not even praying at this point. Dear God, thank you so much for... No, it's, bro, come in, copy. Are you here? And you do that every single day. Dude, you know where you are. You know where you're going. You know what's up. Okay? And it doesn't really matter about anything else after that. It doesn't matter about what people say. It doesn't matter about, as long as you know that you are worshiping Jesus Christ and walking in the ways in which He has set before you to walk in radical obedience, then you do you, baby. If you are doing that, if you're being radically obedient to Jesus, and that is your basis of operandi, I say rock and roll all day. I'm letting you loose, baby. And that's what we're looking to accomplish. That's where we're looking to get to, is a place of radical obedience. And that's not the only place. We want to get to a place of joy, and we want to get to a place of peace, but I'd say specifically right now, radical obedience is on my heart. It's something that I've been practicing, and it's a vulnerable thing for me to say because it truly is what I'm working on inside. And it's miraculous what happens when you're obedient. You would be shocked about what the outcomes are, and those aren't the real reasons you do them, because God does speak about, Jesus speaks about rewards in the Bible, and I could open it and show you the passage in Luke, like Luke chapter 7, Luke chapter 10, somewhere in there, or maybe it's Matthew 20. I can't exactly remember where. It's one of those, trust me guys, it's in there. But it's not the reason we're radically obedient. The reason I'm radically obedient is because I have no other choice in life. Like, I don't have any other options. I mean, I don't have better ideas than following the creator of the universe. I don't have any better ideas than that. When you have a better plan for me than the guy who controls everything, and he is He loves me so much, and that he'll show for me if I show for him, and that he'll claim my name if I claim his name, and all of these things. He'll serve me if I serve him. And if you can get me a better story than that, I'm going with you. But until then, I'm going to do this because I have no other options. And being radically obedient is just basically me not cutting corners and saying this is okay but this isn't, and this is okay but this isn't. I don't make my own rules. I follow his guidelines. I hate the word rules because it's like a rule is like if you break it, you're done. But the cool thing about him, and I don't want you to abuse the grace system that he has in place for us. Cool rhyme right there. I don't want you to abuse that, so I don't like the word rules. But the guidelines for operating are here. And this is how you are to, this is the perspective in which you are to take. One that is of a servant and not of one who is to be served. And one who is, who loves his neighbor. And one who, yeah, those are huge things. So when you get that down, let me know. But anyways, that's what we're after here. And you're like, radical obedience, yes. When you are doing exactly what he says, you would be shocked at the payoff. You would be shocked at the success. You would be shocked at all the things that you accomplish. All of the goals, all of the wins that you have. And yeah, you're going to stumble, and you're not perfect. And radical obedience is only a fraction of this die that has been cast. Okay? But yeah, that's the gist of what we do on this channel. And we actually just finished the book of Colossians, and that took us a few weeks. And before that, we were going through Matthew for like 6 months. So we've been text heavy for almost a year. Before that, we read Luke. We aren't in a book right now. We're transferring, and a lot of the times during these transfer periods between gospel epistle, if you have no idea what I just said right there, it's it's the books about Jesus and the books about the people after Jesus left and what they did through his name. The books about Jesus are the Gospels, and the books about what the people did after he left are called epistles. They're just letters that were written to the church, is to encourage them and give them instruction. And there's also another confusing part, the book of Acts, which is just the Acts of the Apostles. It's their story. And so to correct myself, the book of Acts is just the Acts of the Apostles after Jesus left and what people accomplished. And the epistles are letters that were written to the different churches in the different regions surrounding where the gospel, the good news broke out, where Jesus was doing work in, and those are just letters written to the church's epistles. And so that's a quick little scoop. If you don't know any of this Bible stuff, I'm here for you, and I want you to understand. That's like the whole goal of this, is not so that the Christians can all get on with each other and we can all have that fun whatever with our little circle. No. I am opening the door to every single person with breath, every human being walking this planet with a conscience, with consciousness and breath. I will ask them to join me because I know how incredible this stuff is. I just sat there and told you about the radical obedience and how, I really don't have any other options. I mean, you find me a better option than serving my neighbor and loving God. and let me know what happens after you do it. I'm a advocate here. I've been doing it for 5 years now. It works. It's real, and your life will be greater than it ever was before in ways that are undescribable. I can try. I can tell you that that I am more appreciative for the things that I do have instead of the things that I don't have. That's just one example. It's all kind of like that. And if it sounds cheesy to you, I'm sorry, but the way it feels is way better than the way it sounds, I promise. And so I can't really get you all the details like I mentioned before, like the undescribable stuff. It's just undescribable what happens when you walk down this path that Jesus has set before us. But yeah, like I said, we're not really in a book right now. I think we might go through the book of Jonah and have some fun, because we'll do some Bible stories like we used to hear when you were a kid, and we can kind of talk about those, because they were made into children's stories. Like they were animated, put into movies, but all the details, when you actually read the text directly from the Bible and not the VeggieTales version, are actually pretty interesting, because you learn stuff that you never really remembered or maybe even heard when you were a kid. I don't remember hearing any of that stuff. I won't spoil it because I'd like to go through it and we'll have some fun with it. That might be the next 3 or 4 podcasts. We might do that. So, yeah. I mean, you get the gist. You know what we do here. And, we're all fellowshipping in Jesus' name together, and we're running this race together. Like, I'm running it, and I'm trying to bring you guys with me. And I love you. I don't necessarily know you like your mom or dad does, or your family or your close friends, but I love you nonetheless, as much as someone can love you without knowing you. I do this to serve you and to give you the information that you so desperately need that you don't know you need. I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry if you can't believe that. I'm sorry if you think that I'm unintelligent or unintellectual for even thinking such an insulting thought into your brain, for doing that to you. But it's just the way it is, man. And I believe it to the deepest part of my core. And I can't help but talk about it. It doesn't work. I cannot help but talk about it. I can't help but share it with you guys. And so, yeah, that's the deal here. Maybe on the next video we'll talk about some fun stuff like Jonah getting swallowed by a whale, or some fun stories. I don't know what we'll do. But anyways, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you got closer to God through this, and that this helped you on your journey. And we'll catch you on the next video.